Hello everyone, I just wanted to show you kind of the build of the rotor. I have changed the rotor because I felt that it was necessary because of the amount of use that the rotor was going to be getting and the other testing that I wanted to do with the rotor. When I use the set screws to do that, there's a potential that they can wear out pretty quick. So I wanted to come up with a new idea so that I could change out the magnets and reposition them, and I would have a lot more functionality out of it. So our magnets are basically 1 inch long and 3/4 of an inch wide. This right here, if you point one side towards the compass, it's going to give you the opposite here. So you know that your north facing side is out, and that's what we want to have out on our rotor. Now, what I want to show you is the little sleeve that I made here. And this little sleeve is what's actually going to hold the magnet in place. And now I'm going to show you that really quick with this magnet here. And if you look down inside here, I'm not sure if you can see it really well, but you'll see a little lip down in here that's all the way around. And you'll see that this was nothing more than a piece of pipe that I have taken and augered out the inside to make it accept the magnet. So as you can see, the magnet slips in there just like this, and it fills out and flushes out the top. I'll move this guy out of the way. He's kind of getting a little jealous of the work with this magnet, trying to get a little closer to us. But as you can see, that the face side of this is going to stop from coming out because of that lip that's cut in there. Now I did a push rate test on this with a push probe. And before that, this actual lip broke out was almost 700 pounds. So it's definitely going to be strong enough to withstand anything or any forces that we're going to be putting on side the magnet while it's spinning. So what this works is there was another hole that was drilled. Excuse me. I have to keep them about a foot apart because they will try and grab each other. But there was another hole that I drilled inside of our rotor. And then this piece here was then pressed into this and glued. And when it was glued, you can see how they're pressed in and glued here. The actual rotor was just these two pieces. It's just a piece of PVC fitting that you can get from the home improvement store. It's 4.5 inches across and 2 inches deep. And I bored this hole out just a little bit to center it, and then of course we centered our outside, which I've shown you that in many ways on different videos. Okay, so when we insert our magnets into this, it's going to be very simple. We can do a 4-way, we can do a 3-way, we could do a multitude where we have 2 magnets here, 2 magnets here. We can do several different layouts of magnets, but for our first test that I'm going to show you for our power output, we're going to just do a cross pattern, and that way we can actually get a good test on that. And then after that, we're going to put all 8 magnets in, and we're going to give it a run up as well, and we're going to see some differences between that. We're going to test it to make sure that we have the right way. Now, if you can see the compass there, you'll see that the N is facing us right now. But as I rotate this around, you'll see that the south is pointing at us. So we know that our north face is now facing out. And so we're going to start, and we're going to put this inside of our rotor here. And they are a very snug fit. And we're going to push that all the way in until it bottoms out. And then there you can see the magnet there. So it's flush on the inside here, and it's flush with the inside of our lip on that side. So we're going to put one here, one here, one here, and one here. And I'm going to show. Okay, so we have our 4 magnets, and as you can see, there's one here, one here, one here, and one here. And as I show you with the compass, each one, let me turn this so that you can see the south side. Get our wire out of the way. Okay, so you can see that our north magnet is facing out because of our south there. As I turn this, you'll see our south and our south pole on our compass and our south pole on our compass. That means that all of our north facing magnets are out. Then it's very simple. on this side, I'm going to place our centering shaft inside of there. And you'll notice it has a couple of cuts on it. It also has a centering die. This centering die also relates to a hole that I have in the rotor. And that's so that I can realign this so that it's perfectly centered once we get everything put together. And that's this groove right here is cut so that it will take out the distance from our magnets when we go to put these in. This cut right here is centered so that it fits inside of our shaft here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to be very careful when I set this in place. And then we have our centering hole that's here, and all I did for that was I just sized it to a drill bit. And so I will set this so that the drill bit will slide right in, just like that. And you can see how it comes through on this side. Okay, so that's going to support and center our center point here so that everything is centered. Now, you'll notice that this ring comes through far enough that it's going to stop these magnets from coming inside of the rotor if that should ever have a possibility of doing so. So this is going to support it from coming inside, and these lips all support the magnet from coming out. So they're very secure, very safe. Now, how this part here is going to work is this is a piece of nylon that I cut and milled. This inner piece here will fit inside of our lip here, and this outer ring sits on top of our magnets to actually add as a little clamp to clamp those in even more, just to make sure that everything was going to be set. Now this is pretty easy. You're just going to screw this on, and remember, because we have it locked with our drill bit here through that hole, it keeps everything centered, and it also keeps that from rotating while we are putting this part in. And after we get this in here just a little bit more, just like you can see, I'm going to take an Allen wrench, and you'll notice that I have this hole that's drilled here. I'm going to put that Allen wrench on the side, and then as you notice, if I go this direction, it's going to tighten our nut. If I spin this around this way, it's going to loosen our nut. So basically this is to tighten and loosen our fitting. And so I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn this on here. And when I get down a little bit more, I'm going to raise up the Allen screw so that I don't scuff our paint. And then right when it gets snug, just as it gets snug, I'm just going to go just a teeny bit more. It doesn't have to be really super tight because you've got all the friction and pressure there. And if you tighten it down too much, it can cause it to go out of center. So we just want to make it snug. Of course, nothing is going to come apart or anything like that. Basically, this is like a big nylock nut. So that's basically how that works. And so there's our finished rotor. We can now pull out our set and we're ready to go. The only other thing that I'm going to do so that this shaft can't turn in and out is I'm going to go ahead and put a nut on the shaft here on the top, and I'm going to tighten that all the way down to our fitting here. Then all I'm going to do is take this and tighten it down just until it's snug. That's all it has to be. Just until it's snug, and then we're ready to go. So that's our finished rotor, and so I'm going to show that getting mounted. I did drop it a few minutes ago. It got attracted to some metal and pulled it out of my hand. So that's why this is a little bit burred. So I apologize for that, but that's not going to interfere with any of our testing. I hope that you've enjoyed this section on building the actual rotor and some of the changes that I've made to the rotor just for safety, and it also improves the quality of our testing that's going to be, because we can change and manipulate our magnets a lot easier with this system. We're just going to unscrew this, pop our magnets out, reposition them, pop it back in, screw it all back together, and we're good to go for another test. So it's a lot simpler than having to adjust set screws and things like that from the other video. And just wanted to show you that update. Hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much. Some of our next videos are going to be on testing. Thank you.